The other area of bubbling that I think is really an important concept that we need to do is it's like signing a social pact. It's fidelity to the bubble. And that is, get 4 or 5 people who, in this case, may not have any other contact. They're not seeing other people. That they are professionals or otherwise individuals that are working from home. They may be living by themselves. Find 4 or 5 other people who all agree, and they'll guarantee it, that they won't go out and get expose themselves. Then that group can get together. I hope they have a dinner every week together, because they're protecting each other. I'll protect myself, so I protect you. You protect yourself, so you protect me. Get creative. Find ways to do that. And I think that's the kind of thing that can be very, very helpful. If you can't bubble in terms of contact, bubble in ways where you have contact. I hope there are more people who deliver Thanksgiving Day dinners to those who are shut in, those who are bubbled for the health reasons. And, the exchange occurs on the porch. The exchange occurs on the front steps. And very limited contact, but much love shared. Find ways to do that now. Get creative. There are so many creative people on this podcast, I can't tell you. Come up with ways. We'll cover them on this podcast in the future weeks in our new website. We'll cover those. So how can you exchange what I would call relationship love without actually physically being at risk of transmitting the virus? That's how we bubble. Always think about this in terms of numbers, too. I had a minister who wrote me this past week and a wonderfully thoughtful email, and basically said, look, I'm in a church here where we don't have hundreds and hundreds. We have maybe 40 or 50 people come together in this small church. Isn't that okay? And my answer is no. When we can have an outbreak in 4 or 5 people in a family, and I've had far too many situations where family members have brought home the virus with really tragic outcomes. Why would 40 or 50 people in a church be any different? Now, if you explain to me that they were all outside and they were, 10 feet or more apart, and they didn't get together on the way to and from the cars, then I'd be in a different boat. But it's so easy to slide into this level of comfort saying, well, it's not as big as 400 and 500, so it's 40 and 50, so that must be better, huh? Well, I remind you again, think of the analogy. If you're crossing the street and a semi comes through at 40 miles an hour and hits you, you got a problem. Your second example, you're crossing the street, a Ford pickup truck comes through at 40 miles an hour, you got a problem. If somebody in a VW Bug comes roaring down the street at 40 miles an hour and hits you as you're crossing it, you got a problem. Now tell me, those were big differences, okay? But in the end, it was all about, was there a likelihood of a virus being there? And surely it increases with the number of people involved, but in the end, it's really about just isolation or not. So I'm not really that helpful, I'm sure, to many of you. Just think about it. And don't give yourself permission to fudge, okay? You can do that on your weight this holiday season and how much you eat, okay? You can fudge on 100 to 300 calories a day. Don't worry about it. But don't fudge on this because the consequences are too high. And remember, it's our COVID year. We're trying to get to vaccines. If I can hold out long enough, by God, I can make sure my family's protected and I don't have to think about this like this anymore. You don't want to be the person that was supposed to get their vaccine next Wednesday. Problem was you died 4 months before. That's where we don't want to see people go. So I would say, Don, go for your trip. Go for it. Chris, I wish I could be more help. You're exactly right about bubbling the kids, but make sure that they don't take it on to others. And